It is that time once again for KHSAA March Madness to see who goes to the Sweet 16. The 5th region has always been rich in tradition, and have had many Division I players. Clem Haskins may be the face of the region, but there are many more since my childhood that could plead their case. To be fair, I will only name those that I remember playing. As a youngster, Boogie Johnson, from Campbellsville, was one of my favorites. He was so graceful, and it seemed that when he dunked, the entire building was coming down. Lavelle Webster from LaRue County was also exciting. My alma mater, Caverna High School, put out some greats as well. From Clarence Glover to Mason Faulkner, with so many in between. This year's tournament has some major players. LaRue County, at 20-8, will face Nelson County, who are 12-20. Coach Paul Childress is not a stranger to this tournament or the Sweet 16. He represented his LaRue County Hawks as a sharp-shooting point guard, and as coach of the Caverna Colonels in 2004. Childress has a dynamic duo in the paint with Mark Good and Warner Bryan. He has two sharpshooters that can turn it on at any given minute in his sons, Chase and Carson Childress. However, I think the unsung hero of this team is point guard Jeremiah Belton. Belton is a true PG who often gets overlooked because he doesn't produce blockbuster stats, but he is a true floor general. Game 2 will feature maybe the best game in the tournament. Marion County, at 22-7, versus Elizabethtown, at 24-3. First-year coach Mays Stallworth definitely inherited some ballers. Senior Jamison Epps is a walking double-double in my opinion, and is the most underrated player in the entire state. He is a monster, and has a drive like no other. I remember when my niece played at Marion, he would cry when they lost. His older sister was on that team, and I never recalled him missing a game. Joking with his father Anthony over the weekend, I reminded him of this, and he said that he still will, and went on to say that he was one of the most competitive kids he has. John Adams and Taisha Epps are also a huge reason for the success of the Knights. Could this team bring back the glory days of Anthony Epps, Elton Scott, Mike Douglas and crew? They definitely have the talent, but one thing stands in their way, and that's James Hare's E-Town Panthers. E-Town has been ranked in the top 15 for months, and they deserve it. Hare is the only coach in the field who has won a state title, and he did that in 2000. He also went in 2005. Hare has a fairly young team that's led by Jacquees Franklin and Camden Williams. Franklin, according to some, is the best young talent in the region. Coach Hare is a very experienced, and will have a game plan to win the game. I think it's gonna come down to outside shooting, and I am not sure Marion has that. If it becomes a half-court game, then Epps will control the outcome. Game 3 is Bardstown, at 23-8, versus Hart County, at 14-15. First-year coach Justin Line will have his hands full. On January 31st, Bardstown defeated Hart 105-57. Hart has some weapons in Braden Bell and Jordan Burton. Hart County has the ability to catch fire, as they hit 19 three-pointers against Caverna, which broke a school record. Hart County won the region in 1989, then led by Mike Bird, Cornelius Faulkner, Anthony Young, Joe Young, and there was a future Mr. Basketball on the squad. Tick Rogers was a freshman and went on to be the 1992 Mr. Basketball, and played at the University of Louisville. Bardstown will be a tough opponent. Coach James Boo Brewer has been on the winning side of this tournament 3 times, in 2008, 2011 and 2015. He always finds a way to win. Maybe one of the most underrated teams in the region, and the state, the Tigers are not to be overlooked. They are led by the Triple J's, J.J. Traynor, Javon Smith, and Ja-Rel Montgomery. Traynor is a Mr. Basketball candidate, and University of Louisville signee. Smith and Montgomery are for sure worth the conversation. They are both tremendous players and take a lot of pressure off Traynor. This team is special and very exciting to watch. If you are on the other team, you must watch closely because these guys have top 10 potential dunks. The last game will feature John Hardin, who are 29-3, versus Campbellsville, at 15-14. John Hardin's coach Jared McCurry is also familiar with winning this tournament. He has done it for the past 2 years. John Hardin spent the biggest part of the season as the #1 ranked team in the entire state before falling to Elizabethtown in mid-January. They also lost to Henry Clay, and later to Marion County. John is a dangerous team with experience. The other Mr. Basketball candidate from the 5th is Alex Matthews. Matthews is a very unique player. He can handle the rock, play the post and shoot the jumper. First-year coach Anthony Epps has had a decent year, but he has his hands full. Epps has one of the best minds in the game. He led his '93 Marion County Knights to a state championship and then went on to win one at the University of Kentucky. His game plan will be on point. I just don't know if the Eagles have enough horses in the stable to run with John Harden. Campbellsville will be led by senior Malachi Corley. Corley is probably the best overall talent in the region. He had a stellar career on the football field and will play on Saturdays in the near future. As stated before, this will be an exciting tournament. I really can't say who is the favorite because there is such a minimal difference in 5 of the 8 teams. Be looking for future pieces on the tradition of the 5th region coming soon. The tournament officially starts Wednesday, March 4, 2020 starting at 6 o'clock Eastern Time. All games will be played at Taylor County High.